Did you know that some of history's greatest empires were shaped not by lone rulers, but by incredible partnerships? From the early 6th century to the late 15th century, power couples redefined what it meant to rule, leaving legacies that still echo today. Get ready to discover the duos who literally ran the world. Number 12. Joan I of Navarre and Philip IV of France. In the late 13th century, a young queen named Joan I of Navarre held the keys to a vast and valuable territory, not just the Pyrenean kingdom of Navarre, but also the rich and strategically important French counties of Champagne and Brie. Born in 1273, Joan was a child when her father, King Henry I of Navarre, passed away, leaving her as the sole heir. This meant she was an incredibly attractive marriage prospect, a human bridge to power and wealth for any ambitious European monarch. Her mother, Blanch of Artois, wisely sought the protection of the powerful French crown, setting the stage for a union that would dramatically change the political landscape of Western Europe. Enter Philip IV of France, born in 1268, a prince known for his striking looks, earning him the nickname the Fair, and his famously unyielding will. From an early age, Philip was being groomed for the French throne, a position that came with immense prestige and the constant pressure to expand and consolidate royal authority. Proposed marriage between Joan and Philip was more than just a romantic match. It was a carefully calculated political alliance designed to bring the territories of Navarre and Champagne firmly into the French sphere of influence. Their wedding took place in 1284, a year before Philip would ascend to the French throne. With this union, Joan became not only Queen of Navarre, but also Queen of France, holding a dual title that few other consorts ever achieved. What made Joan and Philip a true power couple was not just the strategic territorial gain, but also Joan's active and capable role in governing her inherited lands. Unlike many queens who were primarily symbols of dynastic continuity, Joan was a ruler in her own right. She regularly issued charters, conducted diplomatic negotiations, and managed the complex feudal relationships within Navarre and Champagne, while Philip focused intensely on French affairs, consolidating royal power and engaging in fierce disputes with the papacy and various European rivals. Joan maintained a strong hand in her own domains. Records indicate that she was a skilled administrator, ensuring the efficient collection of revenues and the maintenance of order. She also took an active interest in the welfare of her subjects, supporting the development of towns and encouraging commerce, particularly in Champagne, a region famous for its lucrative trade fairs. Their partnership was one of shared ambition, though often exercised in separate spheres. Philip's reign was marked by his relentless pursuit of a strong centralized French monarchy. He challenged papal authority, reformed the legal system, and asserted royal control over financial matters, sometimes through controversial means, such as the suppression of the Knights Templar. While Joan's influence on these grand, high-stakes decisions of French statecraft is not always directly visible in historical texts, her quiet, steady governance of her own territories undoubtedly freed Philip to pursue his more aggressive foreign and domestic polities without the distraction of instability on his borders. Her ability to independently manage Navarre and Champagne meant that these territories, rather than being a drain on French resources or a source of internal conflict, became a valuable asset to the French crown. Their personal relationship appears to have been remarkably harmonious for a royal couple of the era. Unlike many dynastic marriages, theirs was not plagued by open conflict or scandal. They had several children, including 3 sons, who would all become kings of France: Louis X, Philip V, and Charles IV, ensuring the continuity of the Capetian dynasty. Joan also established the prestigious Collège de Navarre in Paris, an important educational institution that became a center for intellectual life and scholarship, reflecting her own commitment to learning and progress. Tragically, Joan's life was cut short when she died in 1305 at the age of 32. Her death was a significant loss for Philip, both personally and politically. With her passing, Navarre passed to their eldest son, Louis X, firmly cementing its connection to the French throne. Counties of Champagne and Brie were integrated even more deeply into the royal domain of France. The union of Joan and Philip, driven by strategic interest, effectively brought a significant portion of Western Europe under the control of the French crown. Their combined rule, characterized by Philip's grand imperial designs and Joan's shrewd administrative skills, left an indelible mark on the map and the future of France, paving the way for the powerful centralized monarchy that would dominate the continent for centuries. Number 11. Agnes of Poitou and Henry III. In the mid-11th century, the Holy Roman Empire, a sprawling and complex entity that encompassed much of Central Europe, was at a pivotal moment. Its future would be shaped by the union of two powerful figures, Agnes of Poitou and Henry III. Agnes, born around 1025, hailed from one of the most influential noble families in France, the House of Poitou, which ruled the Duchy of Aquitaine. Her lineage connected her to a network of powerful European aristocrats, giving her an inherent standing that was highly valued in dynastic marriages. Henry III, born in 1017, was already King of the Germans, King of Italy, and King of Burgundy when he sought Agnes's hand in marriage. He was a formidable ruler, known for his intelligence, piety, and ambition to consolidate imperial power. Their marriage in 1043 was a grand affair, reflecting the union of two immensely significant houses. From the outset, their partnership was characterized by a blend of shared ambition and complementary strengths. Henry III was a strong proponent of church reform, believing in the need to cleanse it of corruption and uphold moral standards. He actively intervened in papal elections, appointing a succession of reform-minded popes, a controversial but ultimately effective strategy to assert imperial authority over the spiritual realm. Agnes, herself a devout woman with a strong connection to reformist monastic movements, fully supported Henry's ecclesiastical policies. Her piety was not merely personal. It gave weight to the emperor's reforms and helped to legitimize his actions in the eyes of the church and the broader Christian populace. She was known to be highly educated for her time, possessing knowledge of Latin and an understanding of theological matters, which likely contributed to her influence within Henry's court and on his religious policies. Their joint reign saw a period of relative stability and increased imperial authority. Henry, with Agnes by his side, successfully asserted his dominance over rebellious German dukes and managed the complex feudal relationships within the empire. Agnes frequently accompanied Henry on his journeys across the vast empire, a testament to her active involvement in imperial affairs. Her presence at diplomatic negotiations and imperial assemblies underscored her role as a full partner in governance. She served as a crucial sounding board for Henry, and her diplomatic skills were invaluable in navigating the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that characterized medieval politics. However, it was after Henry III's unexpected death in 1056 that Agnes's true power as a ruler became unequivocally clear. Their son Henry IV was only 6 years old, leaving Agnes to assume the regency of the Holy Roman Empire. This was a position of immense responsibility and peril. Medieval regencies were often periods of instability, with ambitious nobles and rival factions seeking to exploit the weakness of a child king. Agnes, however, proved to be an exceptionally capable regent. She skillfully managed a complex political landscape, initially maintaining the centralized control that Henry III had established. Her regency was not without its challenges. The powerful German princes, eager to regain influence that had been curbed by Henry III, tested her authority repeatedly. Agnes initially pursued a policy of conciliation, granting concessions and seeking to balance the demands of the various factions. She demonstrated remarkable resilience and diplomatic acumen, working to secure her son's inheritance and maintain the integrity of the empire. One of her most significant challenges came from the very church she and Henry III had sought to reform. Papacy, emboldened by the reform movement and increasingly assertive in its claims to universal authority, began to challenge imperial prerogatives. Agnes had to navigate these intricate relationships, constantly balancing the needs of imperial power with the spiritual authority of the church. Despite these immense pressures, Agnes managed to hold the empire together for nearly a decade. She oversaw the education of her son, ensuring he was prepared for the monumental task of ruling. Her regency culminated in the dramatic coup of Kaiserswerth in 1062, where powerful archbishops seized the young Henry IV, effectively ending Agnes's direct control. Yet, even after this event, Agnes continued to play a role in imperial politics, offering advice and mediating disputes, particularly after her son reached maturity and became embroiled in the investiture controversy, a monumental struggle between Emperor Agnes of Poitou's reign, both as Empress consort and as regent, laid crucial groundwork for the future of the Holy Roman Empire. She preserved the imperial dignity and cohesion during a vulnerable period, demonstrating that a woman could hold and wield supreme power effectively in a male-dominated world. Her piety and political acumen ensured that the foundations laid by Henry III were not shattered, allowing the Salian dynasty to continue its rule and face the monumental challenges that lay ahead. Her legacy is one of strength, resilience, and unwavering dedication to the imperial cause. Number 10. Margaret of Anjou and Henry VI. The mid-15th century in England was a period of intense turmoil, a time when the roses of Lancaster and York bloomed in a bloody civil war that would reshape the nation's destiny. At the heart of this conflict stood a remarkable power couple, Margaret of Anjou and Henry VI. Margaret, born in 1430, was a French princess, daughter of René, Duke of Anjou, a man of noble lineage but limited means. She was fiercely intelligent, strong-willed, and possessed a political astuteness that would become legendary. Henry VI, born in 1421, was the King of England, a man known for his deep piety, gentle nature, and profound intellectual pursuits. However, he lacked the decisive leadership and political acumen necessary to navigate the treacherous waters of 15th-century English politics. Their marriage in 1445 was intended to secure a lasting peace between England and France, but it inadvertently set the stage for one of England's most turbulent eras. From the outset, their partnership was defined by Henry's increasing mental fragility and Margaret's unwavering determination to protect his throne and the Lancastrian dynasty. Henry's periods of mental illness, characterized by catatonic states and a detachment from reality, left a dangerous power vacuum at the heart of English government. Into this vacuum stepped Margaret. She quickly understood the gravity of the situation and recognized that she would have to act as the de facto ruler of England. Her transformation from a young queen consort to a formidable political and military leader was swift and dramatic. Margaret became the rallying point for the Lancastrian cause. She took on the responsibility of managing the kingdom's affairs, engaging in fierce political maneuvering against the growing power of the House of York, led by Richard, Duke of York. She assembled councils, issued commands in the king's name, and raised armies. Her diplomatic skills were evident as she sought alliances and funds, both within England and from foreign powers. Unlike Henry, who preferred prayer and study, Margaret embraced the cut and thrust of power, recognizing that the survival of her husband and their son, Prince Edward, depended entirely on her resolve. The Wars of the Roses, a brutal series of dynastic conflicts, were largely a testament to Margaret's refusal to yield. When Richard of York sought to claim the throne for himself, Margaret rallied the Lancastrian forces. She rode at the head of armies, strategized battles, and maintained morale among her loyal supporters. Her fierce loyalty to her husband and son was her driving force. Historical accounts describe her as a woman of immense courage and tenacity, unafraid to confront her enemies on the battlefield or in the council chamber. She led armies that secured significant victories, such as the Second Battle of St. Albans in 1461, where she personally ensured her husband's liberation. However, Margaret's determination also had consequences. Her strong leadership and French background made her unpopular with some segments of the English nobility and populace, particularly those who favored the Yorkist cause. She was often portrayed as an unyielding, even cruel figure by her opponents, a common tactic to undermine a powerful woman in medieval politics. Despite these criticisms, her actions were consistently aimed at preserving the Lancastrian legacy and the rights of her son. She fought relentlessly, even after major defeats, including the devastating Battle of Towton, which led to the Yorkist Edward IV claiming the throne. Even in exile, Margaret did not give up. She traveled across Europe, seeking support and resources to reclaim the English crown. She famously allied with her former enemy, Richard Neville, Earl of Warwick, in a desperate gamble to restore Henry VI to power. This alliance briefly succeeded in 1470, a testament to Margaret's political flexibility and her ability to persuade powerful figures to her cause. However, this triumph was short-lived. The final defeat came at the Battle of Tewkesbury in 1471, where the Lancastrian forces were decisively crushed, and her only son, Prince Edward, was killed. With her son gone, and Henry VI soon after murdered in the Tower of London, Margaret's cause was utterly lost. She was captured and held prisoner for several years before being ransomed and returning to France, where she lived out her remaining years. Margaret of Anjou and Henry VI stand as a striking example of a power couple where one partner's strength compensated for the other's weakness. While Henry's gentle nature and piety influenced the religious and intellectual aspects of his reign, it was Margaret's formidable will, military leadership, and political shrewdness that determined the course of the Wars of the Roses, and consequently, the fate of the English monarchy for a significant period. Her unyielding fight to protect her dynasty left an indelible mark on English history, forever linking her name with the turbulent struggle for the crown. Number 9. Elizabeth Woodville and Edward IV. The mid-15th century in England, a period consumed by the dynastic struggles of the Wars of the Roses, saw the emergence of a truly unconventional and influential power couple, Elizabeth Woodville and Edward IV. Elizabeth, born around 1437, came from the gentry, not the high nobility, and she was a widow with 2 sons from her first marriage. Her background made her an unlikely candidate for a queen, especially in an era where royal marriages were meticulously arranged to secure political alliances and consolidate power. Edward IV, born in 1442, was a young Madoc and militarily brilliant king from the House of York who had seized the throne from the Lancastrian Henry VI. He was known for his towering stature, charm, and military prowess, a true warrior king. Their secret marriage in 1464 was a scandalous and unprecedented act that sent shockwaves through the English political establishment. Edward's decision to marry Elizabeth, a commoner by royal standards and the Lancastrian sympathizer through her mother's family, was an act of profound personal conviction. It immediately alienated powerful figures, most notably Richard Neville, the Earl of Warwick, known as the Kingmaker, who had hoped to arrange a more politically advantageous French marriage for Edward. This marriage, far from being a quiet domestic affair, became a central point of contention in the ongoing struggle for the English throne. Elizabeth, upon becoming queen, quickly understood the precariousness of her position and the need to secure her family's place within the Yorkist establishment. She was intelligent, ambitious, and deeply loyal to her husband and her children. her family. The Woodvilles rapidly rose to prominence, gaining titles, lands, and prestigious marriages that connected them to many of England's most powerful families. This rapid ascent, while strengthening the Queen's position, also fueled resentment among the older nobility, who viewed them as upstarts and a threat to their traditional influence. Their partnership was one of mutual support and shared ambition. Edward, despite his initial recklessness in choosing Elizabeth, remained devoted to her and relied on her counsel. She in turn worked tirelessly to support his rule and secure the Yorkist line. During periods of instability, particularly when Edward was briefly deposed in 1470 by the Lancastrian-Warwick alliance, Elizabeth displayed remarkable resilience. She took sanctuary in Westminster Abbey, where she gave birth to their son, the future Edward V, demonstrating her unwavering commitment to the continuation of the Yorkist dynasty, even in the face of immense danger. Once Edward IV regained his throne after the decisive Battle of Tewkesbury in 1471, the couple embarked on a period of relative peace and stability. They focused on strengthening the monarchy, rebuilding the economy, and securing the succession. Elizabeth actively participated in royal life, attending council meetings, promoting her family's interests, and serving as a visible symbol of Yorkist authority. Her influence was subtle but pervasive, affecting appointments, courtly life, and dynastic alliances. She was instrumental in arranging advantageous marriages for her numerous daughters, further solidifying the Yorkist presence within the English aristocracy. Their combined reign saw the consolidation of Yorkist power and a period of increasing prosperity for England after years of civil strife. Edward, with Elizabeth's support, effectively managed the nobility, fostered trade, and maintained a strong military presence. The royal court, under their combined patronage, became a center of cultural activity and a display of royal magnificence. However, their influence, particularly Elizabeth's, also created enemies. The resentment against the Woodvilles festered, especially among those who felt marginalized by their rapid rise. This simmering animosity would tragically erupt after Edward IV's sudden death in 1483. Elizabeth, as the mother of the young King Edward V, was once again thrust into the role of regent. However, her brother-in-law, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, quickly moved to seize power, declaring the marriage of Edward IV and Elizabeth invalid and their children illegitimate. This dramatic turn of events led to the mysterious disappearance of the princes in the Tower and Richard's usurpation of the throne as Richard III. Elizabeth Woodville, despite her profound loss and the invalidation of her children, continued to exert a quiet influence. She famously allied with Margaret Beaufort, the staunch Lancastrian mother of Henry Tudor, to orchestrate the marriage of her eldest daughter, Elizabeth of York, to Henry. This strategic alliance ultimately brought an end to the Wars of the Roses and established the Tudor dynasty. The union of Elizabeth of York and Henry VII, forged by their mothers, symbolically united the warring houses and laid the foundation for a new era in English history. Elizabeth Woodville and Edward IV, through their unconventional marriage and their combined efforts to secure the Yorkist dynasty, profoundly influenced the trajectory of English history during a tumultuous period. Their story is a testament to personal conviction, shaping political outcomes and the enduring power of a united front in the face of adversity. Their legacy is intricately woven into the very fabric of the Wars of the Roses and the subsequent rise of the Tudor monarchy. Number 8. Adelaide of Burgundy and Otto I the Great. In the mid-10th century, the landscape of Central Europe was undergoing a significant transformation, with new kingdoms and empires emerging from the fragmentation of the Carolingian Empire. At the heart of this rebirth was the Holy Roman Empire, largely shaped by the formidable partnership of Adelaide of Burgundy and Otto I the Great. Adelaide, born around 931, was a princess of the Kingdom of Burgundy, present-day eastern France and parts of Switzerland, daughter of King Rudolph II. She was known for her beauty, intelligence, and a resilience that would be tested from a young age. Otto I, born in 912, was the king of the Germans, a powerful and ambitious ruler determined to re-establish the imperial glory of Charlemagne. He was a master of military strategy and political maneuvering, known for his decisive victories against the Magyars and his efforts to assert royal authority over the powerful German dukes. Adelaide's early life was marked by political intrigue. Her first marriage was to Lothair II, King of Italy, a union intended to secure the succession of the Kingdom of Italy. However, Lothair died under suspicious circumstances, and Adelaide was imprisoned by his successor Berengar II of Italy, who sought to force her to marry his son, Adalbert, and thus legitimize his claim to the Italian throne. But Adelaide, demonstrating ruckable defiance, refused. Her desperate plea for help reached Otto I, who saw an opportunity to intervene in Italian affairs and expand his influence. Otto marched into Italy, defeated Berengar, and dramatically rescued Adelaide. Their marriage in 951 was not merely a romantic union but a strategic alliance that cemented Otto's control over Italy and linked his German kingdom with the prestigious Italian crown. Adelaide brought with her not just the symbolic legitimacy of the Italian royal line, but also a deep understanding of Italian politics and a network of contacts that proved invaluable to Otto. Their partnership was one of shared vision and complementary strengths. Otto was the military commander and the grand architect of imperial power, while Adelaide proved to be an astute political advisor and a powerful advocate for the church. She was deeply pious and became a significant patron of monasteries and reform movements, contributing to the cultural and spiritual revival that accompanied the establishment of the Holy Roman Empire. Her influence was particularly strong in ecclesiastical affairs, as she often served as an intermediary between her husband and high-ranking church officials. In 962, Otto and Adelaide journeyed to Rome, where they were crowned Emperor and Empress of the Holy Roman Empire by Pope John XII. This coronation marked a pivotal moment in European history, symbolizing the revival of the Western Roman Empire under a German monarch. Adelaide's presence by Otto's side as a legitimate Roman empress added immense prestige and legitimacy to this new imperial claim. She was a constant companion on his campaigns and diplomatic missions, providing counsel and supporting his administrative efforts. Adelaide's role extended beyond mere representation. She actively participated in governance, often issuing charters and acting as a mediator in disputes. Her wisdom and diplomatic skills were highly valued, and she was known for her ability to reconcile warring factions within the empire. Her personal charm and intellectual capabilities endeared her to many, and she became a respected figure in her own right, wielding considerable influence over both secular and ecclesiastical matters. She was particularly involved in the governance of Italy, acting as Otto's representative and ensuring the loyalty of the Italian nobility. Even after Otto's death in 973, Adelaide continued to play a central role in imperial politics. She served as an advisor to her son, Otto II, and later as regent for her grandson, Otto III, who was still a child when he ascended the throne. During her regency, she demonstrated formidable political skill, navigating the complexities of imperial succession and fending off challenges to her grandson's authority. She ensured the continuation of the Ottonian dynasty and the stability of the empire during a period of potential vulnerability. Adelaide of Burgundy and Otto I, the Great, built an empire that would endure for centuries. Otto's military might and political genius, combined with Adelaide's dynastic legitimacy, diplomatic acumen, and patronage of the church, created a formidable imperial structure. Their partnership was not just about two individuals, but about the effective fusion of different elements of power, military, political, and spiritual, that were essential for ruling such a vast and diverse realm. Their legacy is the very foundation of the Holy Roman Empire, a testament to their combined vision and relentless efforts. Number 7. Catherine de Valois and Henry V. The early 15th century was a tumultuous time for both England and France, locked in the relentless grip of the 100 Years' War. It was against this backdrop of conflict that a powerful union emerged: Catherine de Valois and Henry V. Catherine, born in 1401, was a French princess, daughter of King Charles VI of France, a monarch tragically afflicted by bouts of severe mental illness. She was a woman of noble lineage and an essential pawn in the high-stakes diplomatic chess game between the two warring nations. Henry V, born in 1386, was the matic and militarily brilliant King of England, a true warrior king who had famously triumphed at the Battle of Agincourt in 1415. He was determined to assert England's claim to the French throne and bring the long-standing conflict to a decisive end. Their marriage, far from being a love match, was the linchpin of the Treaty of Troyes, signed in 1420. This treaty was a diplomatic triumph for Henry V, as it disinherited the French Dauphin, the future Charles VII, and named Henry as the regent and heir to the French throne upon Charles VI's death. Catherine, as a symbol of this newly forged Anglo-French union, was married to Henry V. She became not just Queen of England, but also in effect Queen of France, symbolizing the intertwining of the two crowns. Their partnership was brief, but incredibly affable, centered around Henry's aggressive campaigns to solidify his claim to France. Catherine's role was largely symbolic, yet crucially important. She was the living embodiment of the Treaty of Troyes, a constant reminder of the new political reality. Her presence at Henry's side during royal entries into French towns and at significant courtly events underscored the legitimacy of his rule over French territories. She provided the necessary dynastic link to the French royal house, lending credibility to Henry's claim in the eyes of many, even those who might have otherwise resisted foreign rule. Henry, a meticulous planner and a shrewd military commander, continued his campaigns to fully subdue France. While Catherine did not directly participate in military strategy, she supported his efforts by maintaining the royal court, providing a stable domestic front, and performing the ceremonial duties of a queen. She was present at key moments, including the joint coronation of Henry V and Catherine at Westminster Abbey in 1421, a grand spectacle that reinforced their joint authority. Their son, Henry VI, was born in 1421, providing a direct heir who would inherit the claims to both the English and French thrones. This birth was crucial, solidifying the potential for a unified Anglo-French monarchy under the House of Lancaster. For Henry V, the birth of his son meant that his dynastic ambitions were within reach, ensuring that his incredible military achievements would have a lasting legacy. However, the partnership and Henry's grand plan were tragically cut short. Henry V died in 1422, less than 2 years after their marriage, and only months before Charles VI's death. This meant their infant son, Henry VI, inherited both crowns, a precarious situation that plunged England and France into further conflict. Catherine, now a young widow, became a pivotal figure in the regency for her son, while her direct political power as queen was limited by Henry V's short reign. Her subsequent actions and her status as the mother of the king continued to have a profound impact. After Henry V's death, Catherine's second secret marriage to Owen Tudor, a Welsh squire, was another unconventional move that had significant long-term consequences. This marriage was a personal one, but it produced children, including Edmund Tudor, who would become the father of Henry VII. Thus, Catherine, through her second marriage, became the grandmother of the founder of the Tudor dynasty, the family that would ultimately bring stability to England after the Wars of the Roses. Catherine de Valois and Henry V, though their time together was brief, left an indelible mark on Anglo-French relations. Henry's military genius secured the Treaty of Troyes, and Catherine's presence legitimized their union, provided the crucial dynastic link that, however controversially, created a shared royal claim for their son. While their direct joint rule was fleeting, the consequences of their marriage, both intended and unintended, shaped the course of the 100 Years' War, the succession of the English throne, and ultimately the emergence of the Tudor dynasty, leaving a legacy that resonates throughout British and French history. Number 6. Edward I and Eleanor of Castile. The late 13th century in England saw the rise of a powerful and true monarch, King Edward I, often referred to as Longshanks or the Hammer of the Scots. Yet his reign was also defined by an extraordinary partnership with his first wife, Eleanor of Castile. Eleanor, born around 1241, was a Spanish princess, daughter of King Ferdinand III of Castile. She was intelligent, cultured, and possessed a keen understanding of politics and diplomacy. Edward, born in 1239, was a formidable military leader, a skilled administrator, and a meticulous lawgiver, driven by a vision of a unified Great Britain under English rule. Their marriage in 1254, while arranged for political reasons to secure Gascony for England, quickly blossomed into a deep and enduring personal bond that profoundly influenced Edward's reign. Their partnership was characterized by a remarkable degree of mutual respect and shared ambition. Eleanor was not merely a consort, she was a trusted advisor and a significant figure in Edward's court and political life. She often accompanied Edward on his extensive travels throughout his kingdom and even on crusade. Her presence in the Holy Land alongside Edward during the Ninth Crusade, 1271 to 1272, was particularly notable, demonstrating her unwavering support and resilience. She was a constant companion, offering counsel and moral support to her often intense husband. Eleanor's influence extended to many aspects of governance. She was a shrewd businesswoman, accumulating significant property and managing her own estates with considerable skill. This financial independence and acumen allowed her to contribute to royal finances. Often securing loans for Edward's campaigns, she also played an active role in diplomatic affairs. Her Castilian background and family connections were invaluable in strengthening England's relationships with the kingdoms of the Iberian Peninsula and other European powers. She corresponded with rulers across Europe, demonstrating her diplomatic prowess and her active involvement in foreign policy. One of the most enduring legacies of their partnership is linked to Edward's ambitious legal reforms. While Edward is rightly credited with the extensive legal and administrative changes that earned him the title English Justinian, Eleanor's intelligence and interest in justice likely played a supportive role. She was known to intervene in legal cases, advocating for justice and fairness, often on behalf of those who sought her protection. Her presence brought a dimension of compassion and reasoned judgment to Edward's often stern and pragmatic rule. Their personal bond was exceptionally strong for a royal couple of their era. They shared a genuine affection, which was evident in Edward's profound grief upon Eleanor's death in 1290. His heartbroken response is etched into the landscape of England through the construction of the Eleanor crosses. These 12 magnificent stone monuments were erected at each overnight stop where Eleanor's body rested on its journey from Harby in Nottinghamshire to Westminster Abbey in London. These crosses were not just memorials, they were public expressions of Edward's deep love and respect for his queen, an unparalleled tribute that symbolized their unique bond. Eleanor's death marked a significant turning point for Edward. While he continued his reign with vigor, some historians suggest that her steadying influence and diplomatic touch were sorely missed. She had been a moderating force, a partner who could balance his sometimes impetuous nature. Her absence coincided with a period of increased conflict, particularly with Scotland. The legacy of Edward I and Eleanor of Castile is a testament to how a strong personal relationship can translate into effective governance and lasting impact. Edward's military conquests, his legal reforms, and his administrative innovations laid the foundations for a more unified and powerful English state. Eleanor's intelligence, diplomatic skills, financial acumen, and unwavering support were integral to these achievements. Their partnership provided stability, legitimacy, and a crucial human element to Edward's reign, leaving an enduring mark on the history of England and the development of its legal and political institutions. Their story is a powerful example of a royal couple whose shared life and vision shaped the course of a nation. Number 5. Empress Matilda and Geoffrey Plantaginet. The early 12th century in England was plunged into a devastating civil war known as the Anarchy, a direct consequence of a succession crisis. The heart of this tumultuous period stood Empress Matilda and Geoffrey Plantaginet, a power couple whose combined efforts laid the foundation for one of England's most famous dynasties. Matilda, born in 1102, was the daughter of King Henry I of England and granddaughter of William the Conqueror. She was a formidable figure, educated in Germany and married first to the Holy Roman Emperor Henry V, earning her the title Empress. After her imperial husband's death, she was designated by her father as his heir to the English throne, an unprecedented move for a woman in medieval Europe. Geoffrey Plantagenet, born in 1113, was the Count of Anju, a powerful and ambitious French noble with a reputation for both martial prowess and political shrewdness. Their marriage in 1128 was a strategic alliance intended to secure Matilda's claim to England and Normandy. From the outset, their partnership was complex. Matilda, with her imperial background and strong personality, was fiercely determined to claim her birthright. Geoffrey, a pragmatic and ambitious count, saw the union as a means to expand his own power and influence. While they were not always on the same page personally, their political objectives aligned, driving them forward as a formidable force. The anarchy began in earnest after Henry I's death in 1135, when Matilda's cousin, Stephen of Blois, usurped the English throne. Matilda launched a relentless campaign to reclaim her inheritance. While she led the fight in England, often with mixed results due to resistance from English barons uncomfortable with a female ruler, Geoffrey focused on securing Normandy. His military campaigns in Normandy were highly successful. He systematically conquered the duchy, piece by piece, demonstrating considerable strategic skill and determination. This was a crucial contribution to their joint cause, as Normandy was a vital territory for any ruler of England. Their combined efforts, though often geographically separate, were a coordinated attack on Stephen's legitimacy and control. Matilda's persistent struggle in England kept Stephen occupied and drained his resources, while Geoffrey's conquests in Normandy provided a secure base of operations and a clear demonstration of Plantagenet power. Geoffrey's success in Normandy meant that when their son Henry was old enough, he inherited a secure and prosperous duchy, providing him with the resources and leverage necessary to press his claim to the English throne more effectively than his mother had been able to do. Their most significant contribution was the birth of their children, particularly their eldest son, Henry Fitz-Empress, who would become King Henry II of England. Henry was born in 1133, a pivotal moment that ensured the continuation of the dynastic line and a new claimant to the throne. It was Henry, rather than his mother, who ultimately brokered an end to the anarchy with the Treaty of Wallingford in 1153. This treaty recognized Stephen as king for his lifetime, but designated Henry as his heir, effectively securing the English throne for the Plantagenet dynasty. Geoffrey Plantagenet died in 1151, before his son became King of England. Matilda, despite her personal struggles to win the English crown, lived to see her son ascend the throne in 1154, becoming one of England's most powerful and effective monarchs. She acted as a wise and influential advisor to Henry II, particularly on Norman affairs. Until her death in 1167, her political experience and insight were invaluable to her son, who frequently sought her counsel. Empress Matilda and Geoffrey Plantaginet were a power couple whose individual strengths, though often expressed independently, converged to achieve a profound dynastic shift. Matilda's unwavering claim and fierce spirit, combined with Geoffrey's military acumen and administrative success in Normandy, created the necessary conditions for the Plantagenet ascent. Their legacy is not just the end of the anarchy, but the establishment of the Angevin Empire, a vast cross-channel dominion under their son Henry II. The Plantagenet dynasty, which ruled England for over 300 years, owed its very existence to the persistent and complementary efforts of this determined couple. Their story illustrates how, even in moments of profound chaos, a united, albeit sometimes fraught partnership can lay the groundwork for centuries of future history. Number 4. Blanch of Castile and Louis VIII of France. In the early 13th century, France was a kingdom on the cusp of becoming a dominant power in Europe, but it faced challenges both internally and externally. At the heart of its rise was the formidable partnership of Blanch of Castile and Louis VIII. Blanch, born in 1188, was a Spanish princess, granddaughter of King Henry II of England and Eleanor of Aquitaine, making her well connected to both the English and French royal houses. She was known for her intelligence, piety, and an iron will. Louis VIII, born in 1187, was the son of King Philip II Augustus, a monarch who had significantly expanded French royal power. Louis was a capable military leader and administrator, determined to continue his father's work of consolidating the French crown's authority. Their marriage, in 1200, a key part of a peace treaty between England and France, brought a Spanish princess to the French court, a move that would prove incredibly beneficial. Their partnership was one of mutual respect and shared goals, though it was after Louis's early death that Blanche's full capabilities as a ruler truly shone. During Louis VIII's brief reign, 1223 to 1226, Blanche was a supportive and influential queen consort. Louis was a proactive king, continuing the fight against the English Plantagenets and expanding French control over territories like Poitou and Languedoc, often leading military campaigns himself. Blanche, while managing the royal household and raising their many children, was also involved in diplomatic affairs, leveraging her extensive family connections. She was known to be a trusted advisor to Louis, offering counsel on political matters and demonstrating her sharp political instincts. However, it was upon Louis VIII's premature death in 1226 that Blanche of Castile stepped into the annals of history as one of the most powerful and effective regents in medieval Europe. Their son, Louis IX, the future Saint Louis, was only 12 years old. This left Blanche a foreign queen, as the regent for an underage king, a situation ripe for exploitation by ambitious French barons eager to reclaim power and influence. Blanche met these challenges with extraordinary courage and political acumen. She faced numerous rebellions from powerful feudal lords who resented the centralized authority of the French crown. With unwavering determination, she personally led military campaigns, rallied loyal nobles, and negotiated shrewdly to suppress these uprisings. She understood the importance of projecting royal authority and frequently traveled the kingdom with her young son, demonstrating the continuity of Capetian rule. Her strategic brilliance in dealing with the rebellious barons, often using a combination of force and diplomacy, ensured that the Capetian monarchy remained strong and cohesive. Beyond quelling rebellions, Blanche was also a skilled administrator. She oversaw the royal finances, ensuring the kingdom's solvency, and maintained the legal and administrative reforms put in place by Philip II Augustus. She was deeply committed to the education of her son, Louis IX, instilling in him the values of justice, piety, and good governance that would define his reign. She ensured he was prepared for the immense responsibilities of kingship, making sure he understood the intricacies of ruling and the importance of ethical leadership. Blanche's regency also saw her deftly navigate foreign policy, maintaining peace with England while continuing to consolidate French gains. She even managed to successfully resolve the Albigensian Crusade in southern France, a long and brutal conflict that had destabilized the region, ultimately bringing Languedoc more firmly under royal control. Her power was immense, and she earned both respect and fear. Though some chroniclers, often reflecting male biases of the time, criticized her perceived dominance, her effectiveness is undeniable. She successfully guided France through a tumultuous period, transforming a vulnerable regency into a foundation of strength for her son's glorious reign. Even after Louis IX came of age, Blanche continued to exert considerable influence, serving as a trusted advisor and, on occasion, acting as regent again when Louis was away on crusade. Blanche of Castile and Louis VIII formed a partnership that, though cut short by Louis's death, set the stage for France's Golden Age. Louis's military and administrative efforts laid the groundwork, but it was Blanche's remarkable strength, political skill, and unwavering dedication during her regency that truly secured and expanded the Capetian dynasty's power. Her legacy is that of a queen who not only preserved her son's inheritance, but strengthened the French monarchy, paving the way for the powerful centralized state that would define France for centuries. Number 3. Isabella, the First of Castile, and Ferdinand II of Aragon. The late 15th century witnessed the dramatic rise of a new global power, Spain. This emergence was largely thanks to the strategic and intensely collaborative partnership of Isabella, the First of Castile, and Ferdinand II of Aragon. Isabella, born in 1451, was a princess of the House of Trastamara, with a sharp intellect, profound religious devotion, and an unyielding determination to secure her claim to the throne of Castile, the largest and wealthiest kingdom on the Iberian Peninsula. Ferdinand, born in 1452, was the heir to the Kingdom of Aragon, a maritime power with territories across the Mediterranean. He was a shrewd diplomat, a skilled military commander, and a pragmatist driven by a desire for power and expansion. Their marriage in 1469, conducted in secret due to political opposition, was a pivotal event that united their respective kingdoms and set the stage for the creation of modern Spain. From the moment they married, their partnership was characterized by a shared vision of strength and unity. They famously adopted the motto, "Tanto monta monta, tanto Isabel come Fernando." They amount to the same, Isabel and Ferdinand, symbolizing their equal authority and shared rule. While their kingdoms remained legally separate, they acted as a single unified force in matters of foreign policy, war, and justice. They signed all official documents jointly, creating a powerful image of royal cohesion. Their immediate challenge was securing Isabella's claim to the Castilian throne, which was contested by her niece, Joanna la Beltraneja. Isabella and Ferdinand fought and won the War of the Castilian Succession, 1475 to 1479, a testament to their military prowess and the loyalty they inspired. This victory firmly established them as the reigning monarchs of Castile. Once their power was consolidated, they embarked on a series of ambitious projects that would define Spain for centuries. Their most famous joint endeavor was the completion of the Reconquista, the centuries-long struggle to reclaim the Iberian Peninsula from Muslim rule. After a decade-long war, they famously conquered Granada in 1492, ending over 700 years of Islamic presence and unifying the peninsula under Christian rule. This achievement held immense symbolic and religious significance, bolstering their prestige throughout Europe. The year 1492 also saw another monumental decision driven by their joint ambition, the funding of Christopher Columbus's voyage across the Atlantic. While Isabella is often credited with backing Columbus, it was a joint decision. Ferdinand, a shrewd businessman, understood the potential economic and strategic benefits of new trade routes. Their support for Columbus initiated the Age of Exploration, leading to the discovery of the Americas and the establishment of a vast Spanish colonial empire, fundamentally reshaping global power dynamics. Their commitment to religious unity was equally profound, though controversial. They established the Spanish Inquisition in 1478 to enforce religious orthodoxy, and in 1492 they issued the Alhambra Decree, expelling Jews from Spain. These actions, while consolidating religious homogeneity within their kingdoms, had immense social and economic consequences. Isabella and Ferdinand were also astute administrators. They reformed the Castilian justice system, reducing the power of the nobility and strengthening the monarchy's authority. They established the Santa Hermandad, a royal police force, to maintain law and order. Their financial management was meticulous, laying the groundwork for a more stable and prosperous state. Isabella, in particular, was deeply involved in legal reform and the appointment of effective officials. Ferdinand, known for his cunning, skillfully navigated international relations, playing a crucial role in forming alliances and expanding Spanish influence across Europe and the Mediterranean. Their legacy is immense. They laid the foundations for a unified Spanish state, built a powerful military, initiated a global empire, and dramatically reshaped the religious and cultural landscape of the Iberian Peninsula. They were a true Catholic monarchs, as they were famously titled by Pope Alexander VI, whose reign saw Spain emerge as a dominant force on the world stage. Their combined vision, complementary skills, and relentless drive created a power that would endure for centuries, fundamentally altering the course of European and world history. Number 2. Eleanor of Aquitaine and Henry II of England. In the mid-12th century, a union of two extraordinary individuals created one of the most powerful and expansive empires in medieval Europe, extending from the Scottish borders to the Pyrenees. This was the Angevin Empire, forged by the tempestuous but undeniably influential partnership of Eleanor of Aquitaine and Henry II of England. Eleanor, born around 1122, was the Duchess of Aquitaine and Countess of Poitou in her own right, one of the wealthiest and most culturally sophisticated women of her time. She was fiercely independent, intelligent, and previously married to King Louis VII of France, a union that ended in annulment. Henry II, born in 1133, was a young, ambitious, and energetic Duke of Normandy and Count of Anju, destined to become King of England. He was a brilliant military commander, a shrewd administrator, and known for his relentless drive. Their marriage in 1152, just 8 weeks after Eleanor's annulment from Louis VII, was a political bombshell that fundamentally reshaped the map of Western Europe. Their partnership was one of immense power, marked by both profound collaboration and bitter conflict. From the outset, Eleanor brought to the marriage not just the vast territories of Aquitaine, doubling Henry's French possessions, but also her considerable experience in courtly life, politics, and diplomacy. Henry, upon ascending the English throne in 1154, became the ruler of a sprawling Angevin empire, a testament to their combined inheritance and ambition. As queen consort, Eleanor was a central figure in Henry's court. She was known for her patronage of the arts, literature, and courtly love, making her court a vibrant cultural hub. She frequently accompanied Henry on his travels, engaging in diplomatic missions and administrative duties. Her intelligence and political acumen were highly valued, and she advised Henry on matters of state. She bore him 8 children, including 2 future kings, Richard the Lionheart and John, securing the Plantaginet dynasty. Their early years together were marked by cooperation in establishing order and expanding their influence. Henry focused on consolidating his control over England, reforming the legal system, and asserting royal authority over the church. Eleanor governed her own duchy of Aquitaine, acting as a sovereign in her own right, holding courts, issuing charters, and managing her vast estates. This division of labor allowed them to effectively govern their immense territories. However, their strong personalities and Henry's numerous affairs led to a bitter estrangement. By the 1170s, their relationship had deteriorated significantly. Eleanor, feeling increasingly marginalized and resenting Henry's control over her lands and her sons, actively encouraged their sons to rebel against their father. This family conflict, a major rebellion in 1173 to 1174, plunged the Angevin Empire into civil war. While the rebellion was ultimately crushed, and Henry imprisoned Eleanor for many years, her actions demonstrated her immense influence and willingness to challenge even the most powerful monarch. Despite her imprisonment, Eleanor's influence did not wane. Upon Henry's death in 1189, her favorite son, Richard I, the Lionheart, became king and immediately released her. Eleanor, now in her late 60s, returned to the political stage with remarkable vigor. She served as regent for Richard while he was away on crusade, expertly governing England and fending off challenges to his throne. She traveled extensively, mediated disputes, collected ransoms for Richard's release, and secured his succession. Her diplomatic skills were crucial during this period, demonstrating her enduring capacity for leadership. Even after Richard's death in 1199, Eleanor continued to exert influence, successfully ensuring the succession of her youngest son, John, over rival claimants. She continued to act as a powerful force in John's early reign, protecting his interests and securing his control over Aquitaine. She died in 1204, having lived a life of extraordinary political engagement and impact. Eleanor of Aquitaine and Henry II, despite their tumultuous relationship, were a quintessential power couple. Henry's boundless energy, legal reforms, and military conquests built a sprawling empire. Eleanor's vast inheritance, cultural patronage, political savvy, and unwavering determination to secure her lineage provided the foundations and often the challenges that shaped that empire. Their combined lives dramatically altered the course of English and French history, establishing a powerful Anglo-French realm that would define relations between the two countries for centuries. Their legacy is one of unparalleled power, ambition, and the enduring impact of two of the most dynamic figures of the Middle Ages. Quote, Number 1. Theodora and Justinian I. In the early 6th century, at the height of its power, the Byzantine Empire, the eastern successor to the Roman Empire, was led by one of history's most compelling power couples, Empress Theodora and Emperor Justinian I. Theodora, born around 500 AD, came from humble beginnings, reportedly a circus performer or actress. Oppression considered low status in Romanticism pride. She was renowned for her beauty, intelligence, and sharp wit, but also for her courage and political astuteness. Justinian I, born around 482 AD, was a brilliant and ambitious emperor, driven by a vision to restore the glory of the Roman Empire. He was a skilled administrator, a meticulous legislator, and a tireless worker, known for his ambitious building projects and military campaigns. Their marriage in 525 AD was highly controversial due to Theodora's background, requiring a change in Roman law to permit a man of senatorial rank to marry an actress. Yet, their union transcended societal norms, becoming a partnership of unparalleled influence. From the moment Justinian ascended the throne in 527 AD, Theodora was not merely an empress consort. She was a co-ruler, a trusted advisor, and a powerful force in her own right. Justinian recognized her exceptional abilities and relied heavily on her counsel. Records indicate that she participated actively in state affairs, held audiences with foreign ambassadors, and issued her own decrees. Her intelligence and strong will complemented Justinian's methodical approach, creating a dynamic and effective ruling duo. Their reign was defined by monumental achievements and profound challenges. One of their most enduring legacies is the Corpus Juris Civilis, or Justinian's Code, a comprehensive codification of Roman law that became the foundation of legal systems throughout much of Europe for centuries. While Justinian oversaw this immense legal project, Theodora's influence is believed to have contributed to progressive aspects of the code, particularly those concerning women's rights. She championed laws protecting women from forced prostitution, giving women more rights in divorce, allowing them to own property, and imposing stricter penalties for rape. Her advocacy fundamentally altered the legal standing of women within the empire, a truly remarkable feat for her time. Their greatest test came during the Nika riots of 532 AD, a massive and violent uprising in Constantinople that threatened to overthrow Justinian's rules. As the city burned and Justinian's advisors urged him to flee, Theodora famously delivered a passionate speech, arguing that royalty is a magnificent burial shroud. Her unwavering courage and refusal to abandon the throne inspired Justinian and his generals to stay and fight, ultimately crushing the rebellion and solidifying their power. This moment famously demonstrated her immense fortitude and strategic thinking, proving her to be indispensable to the imperial cause. Theodora also played a crucial role in religious policy, often engaging in theological debates and influencing appointments within the church. She was particularly sympathetic to the Monophysite Christians, a theological faction often at odds with the official Chalcedonian doctrine, using her influence to protect them from persecution. This delicate balancing act reflected her understanding of the complex religious landscape of the empire and her efforts to maintain internal stability. Beyond her political and legal influence, Theodora was a powerful patron of the arts and architecture. She supported Justinian's ambitious building programs, including the construction of the magnificent Hagia Sophia, a symbol of Byzantine power and architectural brilliance that still stands today. Her presence was woven into the fabric of imperial life, a constant and visible companion to the emperor. Theodora's influence was not always without controversy. Her strong will and sometimes ruthless actions earned her detractors, but her impact on Justinian's reign and the direction of the empire is undeniable. She died in 548 AD, leaving Justinian to rule for another 17 years, a period often described as less vibrant without her by his side. Theodora and Justinian I represent the epitome of a medieval power couple. Justinian's grand vision for imperial restoration, military conquests, and legal reforms were undeniably shaped by Theodora's sharp intellect, political courage, and compassionate advocacy. Their combined efforts defined an era, leaving behind a legacy of codified law, architectural wonders, and a testament to the power of a truly collaborative imperial partnership. Their story is a cornerstone of Byzantine history, demonstrating how two individuals from vastly different backgrounds could unite to profoundly transform an empire and leave an indelible mark on civilization.